Putting insulation in the cavities of your walls increases the sound transmission class of the wall. Since I'm building double wall construction and the second wall around the perimeter of my studio is the existing wall of the house, I'm using Johns Manville R19 insulation, which is encapsulated in plastic that serves as a vapor barrier between the exterior wall and the studio wall. For the interior walls, I used Owens Corning R19 with a single craft paper facing. Even though the Johns Manville insulation is encapsulated, it still pays to cover your body, eyes, and mouth to minimize contact or inhalation of glass fibers. Cutting the insulation to fit is easy with a simple box knife. Installation can be done with a staple gun or tape. The object is to fill the entire cavity and make sure it doesn't move or settle. Steel stud insulation is a bit easier in that there's an interior cavity that the insulation can slide into. Since you can't use staples on steel studs, a strong tape such as gaff tape or duct tape will work well. Drywall comes in different thicknesses and lengths, but the standard dimension is 4 foot by 8 foot. We are using 1/2 inch drywall on this project, but 5/8 is also available. Another reason for doing the stud work 16 inches on center is because the drywall measures 48 inches across. That allows you to put up pieces in succession without cutting, and the seams will be directly on a stud. In standard building construction, direct attachment of drywall to stud work is standard. This also works for acoustical construction, but we also want to be concerned about making it as airtight as possible. We use acoustical caulk for this and run a bead on the bottom and the top and the corners of the installation. Place the drywall in front of the bead and push it back into the wall to make a seal. Acoustical caulk is different than regular caulk. It does not dry out and it remains pliable. This allows for the wall to flex without breaking the seal. Keep this in mind during installation as it can get quite messy if it's applied where it shouldn't be. Once in place, screw it to the stud work with drywall screws. Since we marked with spray paint where the studs are, it should be easy to hit them during installation. A handy tool to help in this operation is a laser straight, which projects a red laser beam across a flat surface, making it easy to trace with a pencil. Then you put screws in on each stud about every 1.5 feet. Use 2 screws where 2 pieces meet. Don't overdo it, as we will be sealing every single screw with caulk later to maintain an airtight seal. Cutting drywall is easy using a box knife and a drywall square. Simply measure your piece on both ends of the drywall and draw a line between the 2 marks with a T-square. Then cut along that line to score the paper layer on the drywall. Cut once again to start through the drywall itself, and this allows you to bend and break the drywall clean, and then you can cut any paper on the other side very easily. Drywall attached to RC is about the same, except now you're going into the RC in between the studs. It's imperative that the screws are put through the RC and not into the studs, so marking the locations of each part of the wall is advised. As shown before, you cut the RC to size with tin snips. The piece that runs along the bottom of the stud work is facing up, while the rest of the RC will face down so that the hinge is hanging slightly closed rather than slightly open. Attach the RC to the studs with drywall screws. Then attach the drywall to the RCs with the same screws. When hanging the drywall, again use acoustic caulk to seal, but allow for the raised nature of the RC. Using RC improves your sound transmission class dramatically over direct installation. You can double up your drywall if you want, but RC with a single layer will provide a better STC rating than direct hanging of double layer drywall.